Hi kids! Let's read chapter 3 of Guinea Dog. Chapter 3 is called I Was Dreaming I Had a Rottweiler. Do you know what a Rottweiler is? A Rottweiler is a breed of dog. You can Google what it looks like if you want to, but it's not a little dog, it's a big dog. It was the best dream I had ever had. Then, the guinea pig woke me up right in the middle of it. She was gripping the bars of her cage with her tiny pink paws and screeching like a bad set of bike brakes. I heard a knock on the door. I was pretty sure I knew who it was. "Come in, Dad." The door swung open. Dad was wearing his fuzzy blue slippers and his plaid robe over his yellow pinstriped pajamas. His hair was messed up. His eyes were puffy. He was grimacing. He didn't come in. He refuses to set foot in the dump, which is what he calls my room. "What is that awful sound?" he asked. I pointed at Fido. "Why, it's the quiet, clean pet Mom bought me." "It's unacceptable," he said. I nodded. Mom appeared behind him, pouting. "I think Emmeline's lonely." "Fido," I reminded her. "Well, why don't you take her out of her cage and let her sleep in bed with you, Rufus?" I looked at Dad, and we had a rare moment of seeing eye to eye. My mom, his wife, was a loon. "Well, then, I'll do it," she said. She bent down and opened the door of the cage. Fido stopped whining and scurried out. She raced over to my bed and started tugging on the blanket. "There, see?" said Mom smugly. She scooped Fido up and set her on the bed. The rodent's little tongue spilled out of her mouth. She wagged her non-existent tail. She ran up my body and licked my chin. "Aw, she loves you," said Mom, beaming. I tried to smile back, but I couldn't make it work. "If she'll be quiet, fine, then she can be out of her cage," Dad said. "She'll be quiet," Mom said. Fido then dashed to the foot of my bed and curled up at my feet. "Just as snug as a bug in a rug," Mom said. "Ugh," said Dad and left. I was with him on that. Mom has a way of talking sometimes that makes you want to throw up. "Night-night, Rufus," Mom whispered and tiptoed out. Like that. It's like living trapped inside Mrs. Rogers' neighborhood. She can't seem to grasp that I'm not 3 years old anymore. I wonder if she ever will. Now that I was alone, well, almost, I closed my eyes and went back to sleep. I was hoping the Rottweiler dream would reboot, but instead I dreamed I was running in one of those hamster exercise wheels. Fido was still there at my feet when I woke up in the morning. The second she realized I was awake, though, she ran at my face and slobbered it all up. That was a weird thing to wake up to. "Cut it out," I whined. "Down." She cut it out and sat down. Her tongue fell out of her mouth and she sat there gaping up at me like she was waiting for my next command, which was also weird. I slipped out from under the covers and flipped them over on her. She scrambled frantically underneath them, trying to get out. Then she gave up and started screeching really loud. "Quiet," I said. This command she ignored. I got dressed with my fingers in my ears. Not an easy thing to do. There was a knock at the door. "Come in, Dad." Dad pushed open the door. He gave me the stony stare. He kept his toes outside the dump's border. "It's not my fault," I said. He kept staring. "Oh, all right," I said. I uncovered Fido. She stopped screeching and started wagging her hairy butt. "Don't do that again," Dad said. "Copy that," I said. "Breakfast is ready." "Copy that too." Copy that was my new favorite way of saying okay. It was replacing "Gotcha, Chief," which Dad recently stopped to make me say. "Put that rat back in its cage. I do not want it in my kitchen." Copy that. I lifted Fido up. She was lighter than I thought she'd be, considering how fat she looked. Put her in her cage and locked the door. She grabbed the bars and screeched. Dad covered his ears and yelled, "Take her back out! Take her back out! Take her back out! Out! Out!" Dad is one major freaker-outer. "Copy that," I said, and took her out of the cage. She stopped screeching. Dad breathed a mighty sigh. "I'll bring up your breakfast to you." This was a bit of a shock. I was under strict orders never to bring food into my room, but I answered, "Copy that." "Stop saying copy that," Dad said. "I can't say copy that either?" "No." He never lets me have any fun. "Okay," I said. "I'll say okay." Dad sighed again, then sneered at Fido and left. He returned a few minutes later carrying a tray with a plate of scrambled eggs, sausage, and buttered toast on it, plus a glass of OJ. Fido began to pant and whimper. "Do not give that animal any food," Dad said firmly. "Copy," I started to say, and then caught myself. "Okay." Dad left, and I sat on my bed and started wolfing down my breakfast. Fido managed somehow to get up on the bed without help and made a beeline for the tray. She grabbed the edge of it with her little paws, pulled herself up, and peeked over the edge at my food with big, hungry eyes. Her nose twitched overtime. "You can't have any," I said with my mouth full. She whimpered. "You're a strict vegetarian." She whimpered louder. Dad said no. She gave me sad, pitiful eyes. "Oh, all right, one bite, but don't let Dad find out." I held out a smoky link, and she snatched it and disappeared under the tray. I heard munching, then a tiny burp. After I finished eating, I got dressed. I checked my look in the mirror over my dresser. Plain, skinny boy in worn jeans and the t-shirt he slept in with scraggly brown hair, a small chin with a slight crease down the middle, and a small nose that tilted up and showed too much nostril, and a neck that could stop growing any time without complaint from me. Fido jumped down from the bed and ran to the cage to relieve herself. I took the opportunity to lock her in. She rushed to the bars and started to screech. "Quiet," I said, and gave her the stony stare. She stopped, which was a little cool. "Sit," I said, just for fun. She sat, which was also a little cool. Still, a little cool for a dorky rodent with a mohawk was still almost totally uncool compared to any dog, even a toy poodle. "If you want to make any noises while I'm gone, Dad will kick you out on your tail is behind. And there are a lot of cats in our neighborhood, so..." I stopped and thought about this, then added, "So go ahead and make as much noise as you want." I left the room and closed the door behind me. Dad was in the kitchen washing dishes. He was wearing his "What part of it's not ready yet? Do you not understand?" apron. "You didn't leave your dishes in your room, did you?" he asked. "This is exactly why we don't allow you..." "Oh, sorry," I said, and ran back to my room. Fido jumped up and down when I came through the door. I grabbed the tray. "I just forgot this," I said to her, and turned to leave. She screeched. "Quiet," I commanded. She stopped. "Good pig," I said. "Is that creature going to screech all day?" Dad asked when I returned to the kitchen. "I have an enormous amount of work to do." I shrugged. "Ask Mom. She's the guinea pig expert. If it keeps it up, I will not hesitate to return that infernal creature to the pet shop post-haste," Dad said. "Copy that," I said. He glared at me. "I mean, fine, wonderful, sounds great." I grabbed my backpack and my hoodie and headed for the front door. I heard Fido screeching upstairs before I was outside. On the porch, I saw Dad through the kitchen window holding his ears. I thought, maybe he should have gotten me a dog after all. Let's make a prediction. What do you think is going to happen next? With Fido making all that screechy guinea pig noise and Dad being really grumpy about it, what do you think's going to happen? We'll find out tomorrow when we read chapter 4, which is called My Best Friend's Dog Was Perfection. See you guys tomorrow. Have a good afternoon. Bye-bye.